Hello, you gods and goddesses out there. I'm Eric. How's it going? Did you have a good week? So it was interesting. Shooting was the easiest part. Editing was a little tricky. Uploading was tough. That was hard, dude. It's 8/23/22, and I'm going to try to be a little more nice to my audience regarding uncomfortable pauses. You can't even really hear it as bad. Yeah, there's an airplane in the background right now, but I'm inside my bathroom. More specifically, I'm inside my bath, which is one of my favorite places to be. You know, just melt into the water, and the muscles literally unwind, and I start to feel human again, you know, get some of the stress of my week off. That wasn't something I was really doing for a little while. I was putting it all into video games, which video games are only not stressful until, you know, you run into some hard stuff, which you inevitably do. They really make it hard for some people at the end. So then you get stressed and you're raging inside a chair, which is it's not good for you. This has been healthy. This has been therapeutic, I feel like. I feel like already that I'm doing the right thing. As you can see, I'm starting to edit now, trying to keep it to the bare minimum. I'm trying to keep you with me. I'm trying to be honest with you about what's happening right now, but at the same time, I want to save your time. And I want to make this a little bit tighter. You always have an idea of what you want to put out there, and then you hit reality, and they're like, you know, it's like reality says, this is feasible, this is not. And you say, well, I've seen it done before. It's like, yeah, you got to learn how to do it. And even now, learning is a very stressful experience for me. You know, I did well in school up to the point where they could captivate me, and they had to learn how to compete with all of these great songs and television shows. Batman, you know, the original Batman, not when it first aired, but I'm sure I was watching repeats. That was the first show that I really got into. So there was a lot of things that I didn't expect. You know, I thought things would be a lot more intuitive. You know, YouTube, it's like a channel, but when you're trying to run it, it feels like a program. And programs are, you know, sometimes you know, sometimes you don't. And when you don't, God help you. God, nobody makes it easy for you. And the thing that I kept on running up against would be something like, God, that freaking bird, dude. I'm sorry. Should I kill it? What's my cat doing? You know? She should be on this. Finally getting it out there, though, was liberating. And, you know, for a few days, I didn't feel the stress of not creating. You know, it's a stress that I've had to live a lot of my life with, because, you know, I haven't been able to live off of my creativity. Not yet. I feel like I'm going in the right direction. Finally, I just gotta say, I'm editing on iMovie right now, and the thing is, there's templates, all right? There's these little things that they set up ahead of time, and so everybody that sees it, that does iMovie, they say immediately, oh my God, that's iMovie. And the thing is that, like, I just want to do certain things and simple things. And I get it, it's not necessarily fancy, but, you know, that's my form of expression at the time. And, you know, Apple's like, you get right in your lane, Buster. You know, if you were an auteur, you'd know how to do this already, or you'd have a better program. So sometimes getting iMovie to do what you want it to do is like trying to flick a Bic lighter, but by using somebody else's dead, rotting hand to do it. That's my metaphor. What I'm trying to say is, iMovie, it fucking does. It fucking does. All right, so as promised, I'm showing you the list ahead of time. Don't forget to look down at the bar below. You could just scroll through it, find the part you want to be in, or you could click around using what I'm going to call the Hot Pocket. The YouTube Hot Pocket, right down there. Click on an arrow, open up the thing, see a bunch of stuff. You know what to do. This week's list, 10 seemingly random ass facts about my random ass. Number 1. I'm a caregiver. Seemingly random, but out of all the jobs, day jobs that I've had throughout my life, this one's most me. My earliest experience with it was, I was a sophomore in college, and for my summer off, I went to the local assisted living facility, nursing home, actually. It's a bit of a different ball game. It's not for everyone, obviously, but I felt a connection with the people. I felt like the work was good. Jobs have been really random throughout my life. Let's see. I've been a substitute teacher. I was in the Army for a while. I was a temp. I was going to studios and temping, at all the main movie houses for a while. Not all of them, but, some of them. Worked in an office building for a little while. There's an interesting subculture in America. My hat's off to you, because, man, that is rough. I still think of Joe versus the Volcano, where Tom Hanks freaks out. Fuck. I'll put the scene in the Hot Pocket. It's funny. But of everything I've done, Caregiver just, it's made the most sense, because it actually felt like, instead of just making somebody money, which is, 8 out of 10 times, that's all you're really trying to do, is just make somebody else money. This was, my home away from home, all my homes away from my homes, and my mother's and my father's and my brothers and my sisters. And most of the people I love and know throughout my life are back east, but it's very easy to integrate me into a family dynamic. I'm not just there for the primary person that I'm taking care of. I'm taking care of everybody else as well. And so it's content rich. I'm learning a lot every day, which is fulfilling for me. 2, I'm a drunk. I love getting drunk. I love it, from the first 2 to the last 2. And, my thing is that I'm not drinking to escape from anything or to solve my problems or whatever. I am trying to deal with stress. It is a bit of a sure thing. I know the ups and downs from it. I don't think I'm an alcoholic, because I could pretty much stop, like really honestly stop, whenever I want to. To illustrate the point, I will not drink at least until the next TopTenz. 3. I am double jointed. It's a trigger alert. It's not everybody's going to be happy with what you're about to see. See that? Looks at the ends of the fingers. Oh my God, what is that? Kind of a cool thing, because that's something that the male members of my dad's side of the family are able to do. We just have the creep gene. The creepy hand gene. Actually, we got a young one who's coming up in the world. We'll see if he can do it. That would really be something. 4. Broken bones in my life. I'm not a sports guy. The guy in my weight class, you know, he'd been wrestling for a long time, and he did football. We both made it to the end of the match, and we had the same amount of points. It only happened once, and I don't know if he got a bug up his butt, but shortly thereafter, he had, grabbed me by the waist and just smashed me down on my side, and it was my first broken bone. You ever break a bone? Different kind of pain. It's so deep. It just resonates. Just rings you like a damn bell. The other 2 were my tibia and fibula. I think I'm getting that right. That was jumping off of a gate. Friend and I, we were like the original Beavis and Butthead. We used to like to climb the water tower in our neighborhood. And I just had to make my mark. I spray painted something that was kind of like my insignia. They weren't happy with the graffiti, so they put a fence around it with concertina wire. And, that was something that we like to do. That was something, it's like it's scary going up, but once you make it, it's, you feel like you've really made it. Your heart is beating, and the fresh air and the view, but the wire was there, so when I got up, I didn't want to hurt myself, so I jumped. That was worse. That was definitely worse. 5. Dad died when I was 16. And, I want to choose the words carefully, because I don't want to denigrate who he was. He wasn't perfect, and frankly, he scared me a lot when I was a kid. And I was on my way to becoming a lawyer. I appreciated the theatricality. There seemed to be an element of, that would test my brain. Only now, I know, like, that would have been a ridiculous direction for me to bring my life. Deprived of that element in my life, I was immediately allowed to be myself more. Those first 2 years were tough, though, because at the time, he was my best friend. Usually, if I miss someone who has passed, that means that I'm not really done with them yet. There were a lot of layers, because I didn't really know the full circle of his personality until, relatively long after he was gone. We'll talk about it more. I don't want to bring this whole thing down. I'm just going to lighten it up from here on out, okay? 6. I smoked pot for the first time when I was 25. I don't know if you know a lot of people that waited that long, but, for me, the effect was a lot more. And it coincided with a lot of the spiritual journey that I was on at the time. And, strangely also, I was in the Army, and so there was, very conflicting elements. You would say opposite sides of the street, connected but opposite. Had a really weird experience. It was a big deal for me because nobody had ever told me that it's happened, and I haven't heard of anybody doing it since. But basically, straight down the line, I couldn't move my right hand unless I pretended in my mind, unless I tried in my mind to move my left hand. Also, the words were coming out opposite. And so in order for me to say, it's cold out here, I'd have to think the words, it's hot out there. It was bizarre, and I thought that, like, oh my God, this must be some kind of an amazing evolution of understanding. And I called up some of the radio shows that I was listening to, and I was trying to get through the call list because I had to share it with someone. It was the biggest thing anybody ever came up with, right? I did my best to, slow down, think opposite, talk opposite, and have the words come out. And basically the guy said, that doesn't sound very interesting. It sounds like you should try to go to a hospital. If something's really wrong, just wait, just chill, just get back in bed, just take it easy, put on some soft music, and, get in your happy place, get in your happy place. You're home, you're high.
I'm home, I'm high.
There shouldn't be a lot of pressure right now. 7, Inception is my favorite movie. I'm not proud of it. First of all, it just pumps me up. Everybody's on their A game. It's very, it's for doing dreams is surprisingly, interesting use of like science fiction, and it's the premise that I have to kind of do an uncomfortable borderline run to keep up with if if it's processing during the movie, but by the end of it, that climax where it all, spoilers, it all comes together. That's pretty sweet. I love all those layers. I love, the interaction with the layers. Number 8, I haven't really been anywhere. I've been as south as Ensenada, Mexico. I've been as east as Puerto Rico. I've been as west as Hawaii. I've been as north as Canada. Great places in Canada. Great places in all of North America. But, I have this wanderlust. I have this need to go out and meet people and see people and learn from the cultures, from the present and the past, and mostly to get some ecstasy in my life. Not the street drug, but the you drug, the me drug. I want to expose myself to more beauty, and I know it's out there. I've seen pictures. It's a beautiful world, especially when you're in a culture, or you're going to a culture where they're not so concerned about, utilitarian, commercial, capitalism, street, malls and cheap houses and things like that. Like, a place where you could see the history on the streets. You could see the cobblestone, and you can see the arches and the gargoyles and the time, and it harkens back to a time where they weren't just saying, hey, let's live in this thing, let's put a roof over our heads. They're saying, let's celebrate, something gorgeous that's inside of us, and put it out there so people are able to feel it every day. Got to get out of my head and into the world. That's an overarching mission. My bucket list is as big as the world, and so there won't be time enough to do anything, but there should be enough time. This is an extra effect that I'll just throw in there. I'm going to try to make it to 108. I figure, by then technology will be a little better. I'll be taking good care of myself, be doing all that walking and living good. Sometimes eating right, probably still be drinking. Why would I stop? Why would I stop? 9 is every book I've read since 2011 I've read out loud. If it's nonfiction, I do it pretty much in a straight voice. If it's fiction, again, do all the voices, approximate the accents. I do my best. I try to get to the point where I'm comfortable and entertaining. I've read for a lot of different people. This all started because I had a friend who was a truck driver, and every morning the phone would ring, and at 4 in the morning I'd read a little bit at first, and the signal would drop off, and then we'd read the rest. I got through a bunch of books then. I've read to a lot of clients. One client in particular, he had a kind of a childlike mind. I don't mean that in a bad way. We did all of these comic books together. He loved it when I talked tough, when I say, "You got a goddamn son of..." The Walking Dead, by the way, like, the show is brutal. The comic is ridiculously brutal, but very well done. And the dialogue is great. So whenever I was reading that stuff out loud, I had a really great time. I have so much to share. Books are really the one thing that I couldn't really take advantage of because it just took too much time. I like to read out loud because I could feel the words more, and I could feel the intentions of the character, and I can identify, even if it's a character that I disagree with, I can, could try to find that bridge. It's just, they feel, they're feeling just as strong as I am about things. It's just that their priorities are different. It reminds me of a story about Gene Wilder when he was doing The Producers. My blanket, my blue blanket, give me my blue blanket. I want to say that it was his whoopee or something. I'm going to look into this. And whatever it was, he was pretending that the guy was threatening his puppy or something like that, or his kitten. I'm not exactly sure. Jesus, I'm really bad at telling this story. 10. My best friends are extremely talented, and I have not correctly utilized their talent. One friend can make me any prop, gadget, sculpture, background, foreground. This guy's, he's a problem solver. He knows what he's doing. Another friend can write me any song I want for crazy cheap. Another friend's becoming a prominent YouTuber all of his own. Kicking my ass. We basically started at the same time. Polished. His shit's tight. Got another friend who, first of all, he's fearless. Tries anything. He's very driven. And he's millennial. But, he kind of pulls me more into his era. He says, "Eric, don't miss out on this." And I'm very impressed with his influence on me. It's interesting watching the stuff that he recommends from a, old fart Gen Xer perspective. But, there it is. I'll do my best, giving him some stuff in return. Hey, he likes about half of it, I'd say. You can't please everybody all the time. All right, that's pretty much it for now. I gotta stop this because I'm gonna edit for... What does that live? What does that leave? Mailbag, mailbag, look at us again. Look at all of the comments. 1. This is it. I'm doing it, baby. 1 comment from Will.I.am Richardson. Will.i.am says, awesome. Looks and sounds great. Look forward to more. And I look forward to the day when it's not just the sound or the look, but the content as well. I can dream. I can dream. I appreciate the support. I appreciate you watching this. And the likes and the shares and the subscribes, all very helpful. But what I really want is the comments. Whatever your impressions are, it's, you know, we're at the ground floor of this. So chances are I'll be able to concentrate on you really specifically. I'll be your dancing monkey. Take care. I love you.